We all agree that pivot tables are amazing for summarizing data, but when it comes to dates, it can be a little bit tricky. Automatic grouping often feels confusing, and what if you need a custom period like a specific fiscal year for your work? Plus, how do you show all dates, even the empty ones, not just those with values? The secret is starting with the right tiny settings. So in this video, I'll show you exactly how to take control of dates and pivot tables step by step. So stay tuned. Before we start, and as usual, let me tell you that the file we'll be using in this video is linked below in the description. You can now load it and follow along with me step by step. So let's start by checking the table that we will explain our today's video on. It's a very simple table. It's a group of sales invoices including the invoice number and invoice date, seller ID, product code, and the amount. If we are going to create a very basic and normal pivot table that including the date of the invoice and the total amount, it would be easy. So we will select the table and then we will go for insert and insert pivot table. Let's create it to a new worksheet and press OK. And here we have this seller ID, this product code, total amount, and the invoice date. So if we drag the total amount into the values area, now we have the total amount or the sum of the total amount. Let's try to grab the invoice date at the rows area. Now here is the thing. You will notice that the year, quarter, month, and invoice date are added automatically to the rows area without choosing it one by one. So now we have that pivot table. It's grouped by the date, by mainly the year. So if we expand that, the 2025, we will have the quarters, and if we expanded the quarters, we will have the month like that. And let's expand a little more. Now we will have the dates. It's including all the dates in our dataset and the total amount for each single date of it. But what if we needed just to get the invoice date without adding the years, the quarters, a month? So let's control the everything like that. This is the normal view we had at the beginning. If we pressed another Ctrl-Z from our keyboard, now we will have only the field that we selected, which is the invoice date in our dataset. Now it's including only the dates day by day, only dates that having the values in it. If you have like a custom group, or you need to group with a specific month or a specific year or any quarter you need, all you have to do is to select the pivot table, right click on it, and then go for group. Another thing before we explain the group, if you have the invoice date with that all layers of years and anything, and you would like to clear that and only keep the dates, you can also right click on the pivot table and choose ungroup. If you have a specific group you would like to add, you can right click on it and choose group. Now this new window will appear for you, so you can select only what's needed from your side to group the dates. For example, if you need to group using only month and year and also days, so you will select that and press OK. At the same moment you will have it. Now if we right click on that and navigate for expand and collapse, let's collapse the entire field. Now we have it's grouped by the year. If we open that, we will have the month, and inside it we have the dates. But let's get back to a thing that we already mentioned in our intro. What if you needed to add like the date including the year and the month in the same row or in the same cell? That will be a little bit hard to do it with the normal pivot table like that. So let's try another approach here. Let's delete that sheet and start from the beginning. Let's create a new pivot table using insert menu, and from insert we will go for pivot table. When we clicked on pivot table, usually we are clicking on new worksheet or selecting existing worksheet and then press OK. So let's try another thing here. Let's select the add this to data model, and now we are going to explain what exactly data model can do. Let's click OK. Now as you can see, it's a very normal pivot table. There is no any changes happened, but the change is not here. The change, you can get the data model from the data menu and go for data model, then choose manage your data model. Now, as you can see here, this is the normal data we have, but with another feature you have got. What is it? That you can add your own calendar that including every single detail for the dates. And in order to do that, we will go for design, and from design navigate to calendars and date tables, then create new. When you create this new calendar for yourself, it's including everything related to the dates. Now, this is the dates that you have, including the year, the month number, the month name, the month and the year combined together at the same cell, the day of week number, the day of the week, whether it was Saturday, Sunday, Monday, included in the dates that you have in the data set. It's a very separate table than the original table that you have. This is the original table that we call sales data, and this is the other table. How we combine them together. Before you get panic, there is no need to use any complicated Excel formulas, no more VLOOKUPs for your data. An easy way to do that you can go home and then change the view to diagram. In this diagram, you will have these column names only included in the two tables that you have, and all you have to do is to create like a link or a relationship between that two tables. So you can ask yourself, what is the main and unique thing that you can use for identifier for the dates? You are right, it's the date itself. So we can create like a relationship between the date and the invoice date from the original table we have. When we drag the dates from the calendar, we just create it to the sales data table, invoice date column we already have in our data set. Now it's created. And what does it mean? It's one-to-many relationships. That's because the calendar including a unique list of the dates that between the minimum date you have and the maximum or the latest date you have in your original data. And maybe in your original data, the same date is replicated multiple times for multiple invoices at the same day. Great, now we are done. Let's get back again to the Excel. Now here is the question, where we can find that table that including the calendar. It's not existing here, it's not existing here. In order to access that, you can go for the pivot table fields, and instead of viewing the active table, you can go for all. Now you have this calendar. Now when we are going to create our new pivot table, we can get the date from the calendar instead of getting it from the sales data. And if you are afraid of getting the wrong date or the wrong column, you can simply hide it from the data model like that, manage the data model, and then right click on the invoice date and press hide from clients tools. Now it's hidden. Let's get back to the Excel file, or before that we can go back to the data view and do some changes in it. For example, the sales data, it showed like a normal number or a decimal number, so we need to change that to be a currency or adding a dollar sign, for example. So let's select that column, and from here let's click on that and choose United States dollar. Now it's added, and let's clear that fraction. That's it. Let's get back to the Excel file, and now as you can see, the invoice date is disappeared from here. Now all we need is to expand the date hierarchy and then go for more fields. Now you have these all fields included. So for example, if we needed to add the month and add the year at the same line, we can check that and put it in the row, and then go back for the sales data table and get the total amount from it like that. But now we have another issue. As you can see, it's not sorted well. It's sorted alphabetically from A to Z. So that's why we have to April 2025 and April 2026. How we can get rid of that? The secret is the data model. So let's navigate again to the data model window and go for the calendar table. Let's see what we can do here. We just needed to add like a serial for the month and the year together in order to sort that column based on our new column. How we can do that? Let's create here a new column and name it as helper. Let's delete that and type helper and press enter. Let's use a very simple function to create our serial. For this very simple function or formula we are going to combine or creating like a serial between the year and the month number. So we can add it like that, equal value, and then inside value we are going to use concat and then we will choose the year, then press comma, then choose the month. Close the concat bracket and then close the value bracket, then press enter. Now as you can see here, we have this new serial that including the serial of the year and also the month. So we are going to select the month year column and then sort by column, sort by column. Then to choose from here the helper column we just created in order to sort the data based on that column. Now, as you can see, everything's changed. Now we can go back for our Excel pivot table to see that everything is sorted. Not just that, you can also add the year to your data to be year at the beginning and month and year under it. And as long as you don't have the quarter here, we can create a column for the quarter. We can create a column for the H, as we will see now. Let's go again for the data model, and then create a new column here, and we are going to use this very simple formula. We will type equal and then round up, and then we will get the month, and then we will get the month number here and divided by 3, then comma 0 for the number of digits, and close our bracket, then press enter. Now as you can see here, it's getting the quarter number for each single month, as you can see in our data, and we can also combine that with the letter Q at the beginning. Let's type double quote Q, double quote, and then press enter. Now it's included Q1 or Q2, Q3. Let's rename that to be quarter, and we can do the same for the half and create that new column and type equal double quote H double quote, and then use round up from here and select the month number, then divide it by 6 at this time because it's half year, comma 0, and close our bracket, then press enter. Now it's H1 and H2 will start from July. Let's rename that to be H year. Press enter. If we go back again for the Excel file and for our pivot table, we will see that it's included now the quarter and the H. So let's add it in the hierarchy here and add the H above it. Now every single year including H1, H2, and H1 included under it Q1 and Q2, and H2 including Q3 and Q4 for it. And also you can show the subtotal from that design, and subtotal show all subtotal at the top of the group. Now the subtotal is showing here for H1 and H2 for each single quarter also. You can also add from here the seller ID, for example in the filter, so you can now filter using the seller ID. If you have a multiple salesperson, so you can have, for example, this one, it will show you exactly what this seller ID sold during the period you are checking now. Let me tell you that the using of the data model also have other benefits. For example, you can also add other related data as well, and just create a connection to your dataset as we already did in our video. So you don't have to combine everything in one or a single place using VLOOKUPs or even more complicated formulas. But let's get back to a very important part in our video. If you're still asking yourself a question of what if I have more dates beyond what already created in the calendar table, the answer is very easy and short. Let's go back to the data and the data model. Let's go for manage data model. From this window or from the calendar tab, we can go for design and go for data table, but now we can select the update range. Now we have the range here starting from the 1st of Jan and the last day of December at 2026. So from here you can change your data and expand or collapse the data inside your calendar table. Also, if you would like to show all the data that included or all the days that included inside your data, even if it's not including any value, for example, let's delete that and that, the H, the month and year, and go for the date and get the date from here on its very simple look and add the month and year above it like that. Okay, now it's only showing the dates that including the data. If you would like to add the entire dates that in Jan, for example, from the 1st of Jan till the last day of that month, all you need to do is to right click on that table and go for pivot table options, then navigate to display and check that show items with no data on rows. Click OK. Now it's sorted. Now you have everything, every date inside the Jan and Feb, March, for example, any other date or any other month. Now it's including all the dates, the 30 or the 31 days that in the month that you're already displaying right now, whether it was including the values or sales in that day or not. Now, as we already explained in our today's video, you can see adding date into your data model gives you a lot more flexibility with just very tiny settings before working on your pivot table. Hope you find this video is helpful, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and don't miss the work file. It's included down below in the description. You can download it and try it by yourself. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.